But if our interest is to save the lost souls that are out in the dark, then we will be able to do the work with all our heart. There will not be many problems in the church. Even in Kandisi Central, every day, every year, we'll be able to add people in the church of God because our interest is to reach the souls in the community. It matters what your interests are. But if your interest is not in evangelism, if your interest is not to serve in the department that God has called you this year, then the work you are doing will be in vain. Because your interest is not in the department. Your interest is not in serving, using your talents and gift. It matters what your interests are. You see, the other man had already purchased the oxen, and he's saying, I have to go and test them. If you have already purchased, if you have already bought the oxen, what is the need of you going to test them? Can't they wait? It matters what your interests are. You know, in our plans, we have to involve God. In our plans. The third man says that I'm newly married and I need to go and enjoy with my wife. But do you think, don't you think that if the man could have accepted and kept the promise the way he had accepted to attend the great supper, if he could have accepted to go and attend and keep his word, could the wife also not be accepted in? She could have been accepted. Because you already have an invitation as the priest of the house. And if you have been given an invitation as the priest of the house, you have a right to say, I'm coming, but I'm coming with my wife. And nobody will say no. And so, in our plans, do we involve God? When we are planning as a department, does God have space in our planning? I'm simply asking, do we really involve God in what we plan? Because if this man could have involved God in his planning as a newly married couple, then they could have done the will of God. But it's saying, I'm newly married, and even he doesn't even excuse himself this time round. He just say, I will not what? I will not come. I will not come. And so, when we plan as a family to accomplish certain goal, do we really involve God in our planning? When we plan to take our children to school, do we involve God? I'm simply asking. As a church, Kandisi Central Seventh-day Adventist Church, when we are planning our department planning, when we are planning as a church to do this and this and this, every goal that we do we really involve God? As God, do we have space for God's divine guidance? Do we really involve God? I'm simply asking. And so, if we involve God in our planning, then it means we have accepted to put God first in our every dealing. And if God says that this is what I want you to do, my servant, we will be able to do it gladly because God has given his word. But if God has no space in our planning, it will be very difficult because anything that comes, we'll give it a priority and leave the plan of God. And so it matters when we involve God in our plannings. Because God is everything in our life. In our church choir, we need to involve God. In women ministry, we need to involve God. In AMO, in eldership, we need to involve God. When we are choosing leaders, we need to involve God. Because the work that we are doing, it is honor. And the honor, it is God. The one who has power to be in all places at the same time. The one who has power like no any other creature that has ever been created. The one who has knowledge than any other creature that was ever created. That is the honor of the work. And his field is the whole world. All this world is the field of the honor. And that honor is our Heavenly Father. Is our Heavenly Father. So the man who was newly married felt that he can only find pleasure in the things of this world. He only knew that the only place that he can find pleasure and joy is the things of this world. And so he had no space for Jesus Christ. And that is why he missed the point. Are your excuses real or genuine? You know, I started by saying that we normally make excuses. You are told that this year you are going to lead the children ministry. This year you are going to lead the women ministry. This year you are the leader of Adventist men organization. And so you start giving excuses. You know, this year I'll not be frequently coming on Sabbaths. So I don't think I fit on that department. Because I will not be, you know. And sometimes we are also chosen to lead in this department. But because you go and call yourself on a meeting and you decide, I'm going to give this excuse, the reason why I cannot serve in this department. But are your excuses real? Yes, you have given the excuse, but is it real? The reason why I not serve in this department, I don't come early. But can't you make arrangement and start coming early now that you are the leader? Are your excuses real? I'm just asking. None of the excuses of the first two people was genuine. They were just full of their own self-interest. Self-interest. That is why when the invitation, the date of the great supper arrives, they each give an excuse that I'm going to do this and this and this, so I will not come. But they accepted the invitation. But when the date has come to do the work, the date has come to go and attend the party, the great party, they each give an excuse. That I will not come because I've bought a land. I will not come because I've bought the oxen. I will not come. They each give an excuse because of their self-interest. But Jesus has invited us through the gospel so that we can go and serve in our community. What is your excuse? Is it because you cannot speak in front of people? Is it because your English is not good as so and so? Is it because you cannot speak in Swahili? Is it because you feel that your talent is so low than the others? Is it because you feel that you don't have gifts like the other people? What is your excuse? But is your excuse real? Because Jesus has invited all of us through the power of the gospel. But the question is, what is your excuse? In our church, Candice Central Seventh-day Adventist Church, all of us are leaders in one way or another. But what is your excuse from not serving in the church of God? What is your excuse? And if you have an excuse, is it real? Is it real? Because sometimes the excuses we give, they are not genuine. And you know that they are not genuine. Because if God has called you, then your response should be, I will go. I'm here, your servant. Send me wherever you want me to go. Because he's the owner. He understands us much better than we understand ourselves. Because he created us in his own image and likeness. The only thing that separates us from his likeness is sin. But otherwise, from the beginning, from the foundation of this planet, even before the foundation of this planet, Jesus had a plan of saving mankind. And so Jesus Christ has invited us to partner with him in this field, so that everyone, he is given an opportunity to know that Jesus is still in the business of saving mankind. And so I'm simply asking, what excuse do you have that will not make you to go and do the work? What excuse do you have? I'm simply asking. Another thing we need to learn from this parable is that don't put aside your invitation pledge. All of us, at some point, we have been invited in these parties or in these functions in this planet. And sometimes we even pledge that I will come and I will do ABCD. But when the date comes, most of us, we do not honor our pledges. But I'm simply saying, don't put aside your invitation pledge. You know, the guest had pledged to attend the Great Supper. But we see them giving an excuse. One is saying that I cannot come because I bought a land. I cannot come because I bought some oxen and I need to go and test them. The other says, I'm newly married and I need to go